Hi, it's me again. I'm back for another story. It's not Ron's Secret though, that's all finished and gone. We've got a new one written by the lovely Giggity. Yeah, I'm in my dressing gown still, but you know, don't judge. This book is called A Tale of Fuck Urgent Shit Sparkles Amidst Penguins. So you don't get a lot of clues in the name. But the synopsis is the secret beginnings of a tryst between an elf and a girl's pet. Oh, God help me. Apparently I'm going to be traumatised by this, but the two main characters are Ginny and Percy. Oh, I fucking hate you, pig. Fucking Percy. Oh. Right, I'm going to start. The school Christmas holidays had just begun, and so all of the Weasley children, plus Harry and Hermione, were spending time at the Burrow. Harry, Ron and Hermione had been at Hogwarts for 6 years already. The time had gone so fast. Earlier this year, Fred and George had opened their own joke shop, products for which they had spent years developing, like their Skyven snack boxes, which contained things like puking pastels. However, this was a joke shop, so it housed all sorts of mischievous things, like Peruvian instant darkness powder and pygmy puffs. I'm worried already. The Weasleys and their guests were all milling about the Burrow, doing as they pleased while Mr. and Mrs. Weasley were preparing the pre-Christmas feast. Ginny was sitting with her pygmy puff Arnold, while Harry, Percy, Hermione and Ron were sitting in the lounge room discussing what they wanted to receive as presents the next day. The subject then changed to school, as Percy questioned them about what they were studying and learning at the moment. Fred and George then walked in with Charlie, as they went and set the table for Mrs. Weasley. After they'd finished, they came into the lounge room and Charlie sat down with Ginny and stroked Arnold as Fred and George chuckled as they sat down next to Harry and Ron. So, Fred, how did you actually do it? Getting food from the kitchen without getting caught? Ron asked. He'd been trying to figure it out for weeks. Ron, seriously, we might as well watch you sweat it out forever just for the enjoyment, of course, George replied. There is one simple answer, Ron. Dobby, Fred stated. Dobby? Yes, idiot, Dobby. All of a sudden there was a loud crack and Dobby the elf appeared out of thin air. Did some wizard mention Dobby's name, Master? Dobby bowed low. Dobby, we need you to explain to our poor as goblin piss brother how we got into the kitchens when we were at school, Fred explained. Dobby then explained that elves were happy to make sure that the wizards were happy and all they had to do was walk through the picture of the fruit bowl and then they would be in the kitchen. Just as Dobby finished explaining, Mrs. Weasley called for everyone to come and sit at the table for dinner. Dobby, sit and stay with Arnold and keep him company, Percy ordered as Ginny put Arnold on the ground to waddle around and stretch his legs. Oh, it's happening, it's going to happen soon. Arnold started to waddle round the floor and decided to go sit next to the fire, near the fire. It didn't take long for Dobby to sit down beside Arnold. Dobby stretched his real thin arms and skeletal fingers towards the heat emanating from the fire. As Dobby brought his arms back down, he brushed Arnold. Puff, puff! Dobby had bumped Arnold and disturbed his fur. Dobby's very sorry. Here, let me fix that for you, Dobby said while he patted Arnold down to try and make his fur better. The next thing Arnold knew, Dobby was grabbing at his penis. At first Arnold wasn't sure whether or not to draw attention to the fact that Dobby had just felt his genitalia. What's this, Arnold? Dobby asked while playing with Arnold's penis. penis. Why are you playing with it? Does it excite you? Puff, puff. Arnold puffed in the adorable voice of a 4-year-old angelic boy. Dobby doesn't like penis. Dobby likes female elves. Dobby took his hands off Arnold and moved away from the fire slightly. Arnold waddled closer to Dobby. Dobby, may I play with your penis? Puffed Arnold. No. Dobby then smacked Arnold's little hand away, but he used too much force and Arnold rolled across the room. But this did not deter Arnold, for he knew when he was being touched and he knew his job. Arnold then walked back over to Dobby, and as Arnold came closer, Dobby tried putting on 3 pairs of pants, but little did Dobby know that no amount of clothing would help him now. Oh, I've got tears in my eyes from laughing. Oh, God. You silly puff, get away. Dobby will tell his master what you are trying to do to him. Dobby continued with this rant and did not realise that Arnold had climbed inside Dobby's left ear and started licking Dobby's little brain in affection. Dobby then reached inside of his ear and pulled Arnold out, but then Dobby decided to lick Arnold's eyeball in a sexual manner. Arnold did not like this, however, as it was not what he was used to, so as Dobby opened his mouth to lick Arnold's eyeball again, Arnold crawled inside Dobby's mouth and down his trachea. That's his windpipe. And Dobby began choking and coughing and then proceeded to try to throw Arnold up. When Dobby realised that Arnold wasn't going to come out easily, Dobby grabbed a knife and sliced open his lungs to get Arnold out. Sadistic. Miss Ginny Weasley, come get your puff. Dobby doesn't like him. Dobby then threw Arnold across the room, then little did Dobby know that Arnold likes it rough. Dirty Arnold. Arnold waddled back over to Dobby and tried to climb inside Dobby's anus. Dobby then tried to fend off Arnold with his 2-inch penis. However, little did Dobby know that pygmy puffs are actually little fluffy 10-inch dildos which ejaculate sparkles, but are disguised as little animals so that a girl can have the very best friend she can have with her when she has need of it. Oh my God. Oh, Fred and George, you dear little bastards. Percy and Ginny then ran in to see what all the fuss was about. They stood there shocked as Dobby pulled down his pants to try to prove his elfhood, but all everyone focused on was the sight before them. The elf had no balls. While Dobby's pants were down, Arnold took the chance to get inside Dobby's anus. Just as he reached Dobby's anus, he transformed into his true dildo form. Once Arnold was inside Dobby's anus, he started to explore Dobby's intestines. Dobby then struggled to pull Arnold out, but moaned in passion when Arnold poked his prostate. Dobby then abused Arnold until he started ejaculating sparkles everywhere. Percy and Ginny were horrified to see what was happening before their eyes. Percy then turned to Ginny with a suspicious look on his face. I honestly had no idea, I swear. I don't even know what that is. Ginny ran towards Dobby's arse as Arnold slid out and changed back into his puffy self. Arnold then snuggled against Ginny as she took him away and up to her room. Dirty bitch, I bet she is. Percy then turned around with nothing but murderous rage visible on his face. Dobby, bad Dobby, you will be punished with socks. Master, please don't. I did nothing wrong, I swear. It was all that puff that did it. How dare you blame little Arnold for this? You will get 3 pairs of socks tomorrow as punishment. Percy threw the socks at Dobby as he lay sobbing on the lounge floor at the burrow. Dobby knew he would get his revenge. He was already starting to plot it out in his head. Soon, he thought. Very soon. Well, that wasn't disturbing at all. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. So, we're now starting to ship Dobby and Arnold. Hope you enjoyed it. Sorry about the beeping. I was on cue, but yeah, deal with it.